If you love LEGO and have ever heard of Bricklink, you may wonder how the heck sellers actually do what they do on Bricklink, how it's even profitable to be a third-party seller. And in this video, I'm just going over the storage side of things, so not the inventory or anything like that. But if you would like to see that, leave a comment about it below. But I'm just doing a really quick short video to show you how I started out. I did not have a big fancy warehouse or an entire room set aside like you see the biggest bricklinkers have, and I can guarantee you that pretty much none of them started with that either. You have to start small, and as you need the space, you get more space. So as you can see here, I have 7 drawers worth in my closet, in my upper closet, because I had a space up here that didn't work out. And this is nice because this is in my bedroom, so it's readily available to me. And I have 7, that way if I need to get the drawer back there, I get it there. Or if I need whatever's back here, I just slide this over and I can get that. It's very space efficient, and the needing to slide over to reach whatever's back there is not an issue at all. The other thing is these drawers are what I use. Sellers use all different kinds of drawers. I have settled on these as my favorite for 2 main reasons, I will say. That's a bad example, that drawer is. But I've settled on these for 2 main reasons. The first being that the plastic is probably the best that you're going to get. Not necessarily in terms of actually how much it's worth, but because it is crystal clear. Whereas like with Acromills, it's usually a cloudy plastic, and I like to be able to see very clearly inside my drawers. The other thing is, this is also a bad example, the other thing is that with Acromills, they only have 1 divider in the middle of the drawer, whereas with these, here you can see, they have spots for 2 dividers. And some people may ask where I get the dividers, because they don't actually sell dividers for these drawers. And my answer to that is, if you're buying dividers for any drawers that you have, not just these, you're doing something wrong, because it's a waste of money. For these drawers specifically, I believe like the exact measurement of each drawer is 2 inches wide, and then the height is not as specific and doesn't matter as much, so I think I do like 1.5 inches or 1 inch or so. And so if you use a paper cutter and just like any sort of single sheet cardboard, so the kind of cardboard that cereal boxes are made out of, not corrugated cardboard, if you just get a bunch of sheets of that and cut a bunch of 2 inch by 1.5 inch things, they'll work great as dividers for these. And these have some leeway, so they don't have to be super exact. However, you do have to be kind of specific with it. But if you know what you're doing and you've used a paper cutter before, you can pump out quite a lot of these really fast, no cost to you, because I get them from cardboard boxes that otherwise would get thrown in the trash, because where I live doesn't recycle cereal boxes. So you help the environment out, you save some space in your garbage can, and you save a lot of money not having to buy any dividers. And with these big ones, you may be wondering, I do have dividers for these too. I probably don't have any in these drawers, at least that I could find quickly, but those are the same thing. The only difference is now you go roughly 4 inches wide, not quite as small. I think you might go a little bit more, but you just gotta kind of figure it out and measure it. And once you make one that fits, you can also just hold that up as a blueprint and use that to sort of just mass produce it with your paper cutter. So yeah, that's how that works. If you're wondering where I got these stickers, I got these from Amazon, I think, but you could get them from wherever. I know some people just like to write on the drawers. The reason I don't like that is A, because it looks messier, B, people usually write bigger, so like a drawer like this would cover the entire thing, whereas this is small and confined. And the third thing, I guess, is also that sometimes what if you write poorly and you mess up your writing? The fourth thing is, I think I already said that it looks nicer, but also it's just like cleaner, I guess. It's more sleek, at least these ones in particular. And also, I think one of the biggest reasons that people just handwrite them on sometimes is because they want to save time and money. The thing is I bought a roll of these stickers that go up to 2,000 for like 10 bucks or so, like something really cheap. And I think putting these on is actually, correction, I know that putting these on is a lot faster than if I were to write the drawer numbers on these. So that's why I like these stickers. They don't have to be these exact stickers, but I do recommend that you get stickers and you don't write it on. The other nice thing is if you ever close your Bricklink store or just don't have a need for some drawers anymore, you can sell these, and these look much nicer to sell than selling drawers that have random numbers on them. The other thing is these can be peeled off without leaving too much residue, but they're not so weak that they'll just fall off. Like, I could easily peel any one of these off if I just got my fingernail under it, but so long as it's not regularly being pulled on or picked at, it's never gonna fall off, which you shouldn't be if you're using them for this. So do not write on your drawers. I would recommend stickers, but if you are so set on writing, then go ahead. The last comment I'll make about that is, if you're ever opening a drawer like this, maybe you're the kind of person who opens like that, your thumb will rub on the number, or your finger will rub on the number that you have written, and if you've written it in like pen or Sharpie, it'll eventually wear away, which is not something that you want. So that is just a brief synopsis of how I do storage. This is only 7 units. I actually have a shed that I'm going to be building in my backyard very soon, and I plan to fit about 30 or 40 units of these, so I would guesstimate that these currently make up roughly like 50,000, 40 or 30,000 pieces in my store, and so getting that 30 or 40 so block in the shed will be really awesome and will allow me to drastically expand. The last thing I will note, if you see these up here, these are a good alternate storage option for people who don't have quite the flexibility of space to have drawers like these. I used to think these were also good at saving money. However, at least with these drawers, I've been able to get good enough deals on them where these are actually better in terms of how much storage space you get compared to these. But these are still good, especially these ones are Walmart ones, and the quality is good, and they were like $4 or something. They're nice because it does make adding the parts easier, because you just have to have one number associated with this entire tray. It just might make picking a tiny bit slower, and you have to kind of like either stack these or create something that can stack them, so there's a little bit of extra work there. But if you're looking for something that A, isn't so big right away, and B, could theoretically save you money, then you could go with those two. I personally have not found a ton of success with those. However, I did buy some of these once upon a time, and I have actually had a decent amount of success with these. I don't have a ton of complaints about doing these either. But again, these require this thing or a manually built shelf thing that can hold these in their place so that I don't pull these down from the pile and the top one falls and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So that is my recommendation in terms of storage. I do have Acromills. I have about 4 units, a different variety of drawer size, and just compared to having those, these, and then also I have some Iris ones at my other inventory location, I say hands down these are the best, especially considering that I think if you know how to look and you know what time and where to get and whatnot, I think these ones are the best value for your money as well, like in terms of money per storage square inch or whatever. Acromills are just like I said, they're too cloudy, and also the plastic is, it kind of feels like better plastic, but that's almost a downside to it because it makes the plastic more firm, I guess, and more cloudy. But the other thing is that plastic, oftentimes, I wish I had an Acromills in here so I can show you, but like with this one, like you can see the edge of this is like very flat. It's seamless. There's no like plastic mold residue. Like there's nothing that is going to prevent this drawer from closing. There's no imperfections. So when I go to put this in, it just slides right in and slides right out. The only reason it isn't really sliding in super nice right now is because I overfilled it with too many bags of minifigs. The one thing that I will say that you might need to worry about is this bottom mold thing here. Sometimes there's a long thing down there that you have to break off, but it's very easy to do that with your thumb or fingernail or whatever. You just scratch it and it'll come off. But like I said, that usually only happens once every like 10 drawers or so. Sometimes I only see it once per drawer unit. And like with these bigger ones, it hardly happens because the mold spot goes up more. But back onto the point of Acro Mills that I was making is that with Acro Mills, the drawers not only are a bit different than this, I personally love these because the dimensions work really well with Lego. They're roughly exactly 6 studs wide. I don't remember exactly how long, but they just work really well for Lego just because of how wide they are. Here we go. Here's a better drawer that I can show that with. See, 6 studs wide, a 6 stud long brick fits very perfectly with a little wiggle room, so it's very good for that. And you can see just how like nicely filled this drawer is and how good that looks. But anyways, what I was saying about the Acro Mills is that with like the edge here, you oftentimes see just like random like things of residue that will cause it to get like stuck when you're trying to put it in or pull it out. And with the 4 units that I have, I ended up having to just scrape that off or cut it off with all of them. And that's just extra time that I don't want to spend. And to be honest, I still don't like that kind of plastic. Even if you scrape them off, the edges are still a lot rougher than these are. These edges, the top like rims, are really smooth and they're never gonna trip you up or get caught on the drawer insert location or whatever you want to call it. So that's just my personal opinion, but again, I have no bias in terms of this. Like, I started my store about a year ago and I bought like 3 or 4 different kinds of drawers, and I was told that Acro Mills was generally what people went with, but I looked for alternatives just to make sure I was getting the best, and I really quite honestly don't understand why so many people like Acro Mills. I think the main reason is because, well, A, it's made in the USA. I don't know where these are made. They're probably made in China, but I have no idea. But also, the only upside I've ever seen with Acro Mills is that the drawers they're not perfectly squared like this. They're like, they go up and then that, so that all drawers can stack on top of each other. But I really don't have a use for that, because when a drawer's full, you're never going to stack it on top of another drawer because you're going to put it in its spot. And when a drawer is empty, I don't need it to necessarily perfectly stack. I kind of just like have it in a messy pile, or even you can stack these, it just won't save as much space. But when they're stacked, you're not supposed to they're not going to be space efficient anyway, but you can easily stack these if you off-center them, or you can even just like set them on like that and they stay fine. And if they're empty, you don't have to worry about them spilling because there's nothing in them. So I see that this video has already gone on forever, but that's just my personal opinion. I should preface and I guess say that these are Craftsman drawers, which is the exact same as I believe Stalwart. No, there's 2 brands that make these drawers, and I've bought from both of those brands, and both are exactly the same. Like, there's basically no difference. I'm trying to think. I want to say it's Craftsman. Yeah, I think no, this is Craftsman. There's another brand, and I forget what it is. If I remember it, I'll leave it in the comments or in the description. But these particular ones are from Joann Fabrics. Normally at Joann's, they're $55 per drawer unit, which is a lot and is about the same as an Acro Mills in terms of how much you're paying for how much storage you're getting. It might even be a little more, but I see these on sale at Joann, not really anywhere else. 50% off a lot, so $27.50. And then additionally, Joann's always has a lot of coupons, and so like recently, like just for signing up, I got 25% off my entire purchase, and that includes all sale price items, everything. The only thing it doesn't include, I think, is like doorbusters. So that counted for these. So what is normally a $55 drawer, it's like $33 at Lowe's. It then went down to $27.50, and then after the 25% off, it went down to about $21, which already is a lot better. And then occasionally, if you're lucky, you can snag a deal on a cashback site like Rakuten or Capital One Shopping to bring that down even further. I've got between 10 to 25% back in cash back from both of those sites when buying these before, and so that can bring the price down even further, between $15 and $20 or so. So it makes these way better in terms of value and in terms of everything. So yeah, that is my personal method of doing storage. If you have any questions about that, leave them in the comments. Feel free to skip through this video, which I guess I should have said at the beginning because it's 15 minutes long. But leave a comment about what you think, what your thoughts are, what your experience with storage is, and any questions you might have regarding this or regarding any other aspect of my Bricklink store, because I would consider myself more of a veteran now, even though I've only been doing it for a little over a year. The only reason I say that is because prior to that, I've been into LEGO for pretty much my entire life, or at least 15 years. So I have a lot of experience with it, and I've dedicated a lot of time to this, and I've now recently surpassed 100,000 pieces, which, among all the sellers that I know, that's kind of like the mark where you go from being just like a small kind of side hobby store to more of a store that makes regular sales, and I'm now at that point. So ask me anything. I also, like I said, know a lot of other sellers who have double, triple, quadruple the amount of pieces that I do or the amount of sales that I do, and am able to get in touch with them very easily and on a regular basis, so I can forward your questions to them as well. Just leave anything you might have in the comments, and I will respond as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share with any of your friends. Please share with this entire generation. Get them to get back into LEGO.